everyone, hey and welcome back to yet another episode of Battle Rap Resume. This is your host Tom Quee. Welcome back to the show. Please follow us on all the channels that we offer on Battle Rap Resume, which is the Twitter at Battle Rap Resume. You know, you go on there to basically find out what episodes are coming up, you know, retweets of bars that I think deserve a fire emoji, etc. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Donate to us on Patreon if you want to help support the show. You can get access to episodes like the episode you're listening to right now might be on Patreon, and then it won't be for the rest of its life. You know, you can access loads of stuff there early, so check out the Patreon as well. iTunes, leave us a review, all that good stuff. But my guest today is someone that I'm very excited to have on. I'm a huge fan of this guy, and it's kind of unique in the pantheon of Battle Rap Resume, where I was actually a fan of you, Visceral, before. Literally, I didn't know you battled. I had no clue. And I was thinking to myself, where was I really aware of who Visceral was to a certain extent? And I think I was at 3 Minute Theatre, Visceral.
Oh, yeah.
Which is, known sort of spoken word Manchester spot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Was that Evidently?
It wasn't, actually. It wasn't. But
Word War, maybe one of them spoken word nights. Anyway, yeah.
It was Word War, but you weren't there actually. Weirdly, you were just mentioned to me. I performed there. I used to do a bit of spoken word in that time, and Kieran King,
who legend,
true, like Salford, legend of poetry.
Mm-hmm.
Incredible guy. And we just got speaking about stuff, and he kind of said, what do you like to do? And I was like, I kind of like freestyle rap or whatever. And I think he mentioned your event. Was it Freestyle Fictionary?
Yeah, Freestyle Fictionary, yeah. That's right, where I did my first battle, actually.
Right. I mean, that's a roundabout way of introducing you, man. But Visceral, welcome to the show.
Oh, much respect, man. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. I'm a big fan of the show myself. And I know you've had a lot of big names and legends on there. So big up everyone who's decided to click on this one and have a listen to this. Shout out to those 10 people. You know what I mean? I appreciate every single one of you for taking the time.
Yeah, no, me too. And I appreciate that to a certain extent. And sometimes I do think like, I should just get, everyone big. But I'm like, no, I want to get the people that I'm personally, a huge fan of. In and out the ring, because obviously we're going to spend the most of the time talking about the battle rap, but just to return quickly to, how I kind of became aware of you was through that. And then I was at an Evidently, which you mentioned before, which is kind of like this, in my opinion, the best spoken word night in Manchester. Even, does Bad Language still go down?
Yeah, Bad Language still happens, which is a brilliant night as well.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah, but Evidently, I'm with you. It's my personal favourite spoken word night. I've brought people to that who have got no interest in spoken word or poetry at all, and they've just had a top night because of the atmosphere and everything, and it's fast moving as well. So if you're not into what one person's doing, it's not long till the next one's on, and it's sort of like, it's just fast moving and lively, and it's a good night.
I really cannot hype up the night enough. Search Evidently Salford on YouTube, Salford, spoken word poetry. Salford, ironically, but and search everything. Search for Martin Visceral, search for Tom Quee, search for Kieran King. There's so much big talent on there, and myself, and where I discovered you properly was Space to Breathe, which I think we mentioned before, but I want to mention again for the sake of this podcast. Quite a battle rappy style piece. It's a fantastic poem.
Cheers, man. Yeah. I think I was being subconsciously influenced a lot because even though I'm quite new to battling, I've only been doing it about 2 years, if that, maybe a year and a half. But I've been a fan of it for a long time. I've been like Jump Off and Smack DVD and all of that. You know what I mean? I was into it even before then, just like Battle Scars and like the freestyle battles and everything. I've been a big fan of it. So, I guess I was listening to a lot of battle rap, probably like King of the Dot and stuff at the time. So I guess I was sort of influenced by that style of writing, and I thought I wanted to do something a bit different with it.
And what was the first experience with battle rap? What do you first remember hearing or seeing?
That is a tough question, man. It definitely
long time ago.
Yeah, my first experience of battle rap wouldn't have been on online or on any sort of league or DVD or anything like that, it would have been like a live freestyle battle, 100%. Yeah, right. Definitely. Yeah, we used to have a few little joke freestyle battle. You know, I suppose like all MCs when they're starting out, when you're finding your feet, you know, having a bit of a laugh with your mates, having a little back and forth.
And like, you
that
know,
type of thing.
Yeah, definitely. And going through from there, you know, extending that fandom. So, I mean, your first battle's in 2015, so you really did kind of watch the modern era go by.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I was, for a long time, I said I wasn't going to battle because I really wanted to focus on, like, you know me as a spoken word artist, and I make music as well. And I really, as much as I was a fan of battling, I never knew if I'd be able to kind of keep my cool in that situation of I mean, I did a lot of freestyle battles, like on beat, you know, just at events and, you know, things like Freestyle Fictionary, but I never wanted to go into a written battle or call myself a battle rapper because I always thought I want to put my energy into something more positive, like telling stories, or, you know, putting across something I feel strongly about. But then it just got to a point where I was like, you know what, I've been watching this long enough, and it had evolved to a point as well where I feel there's so much work that goes into it. There's so much craft in the writing and the performing, and I was like, yo, you know what, if I leave this too late, like I'm never gonna do it. I'm gonna be too old. You get what I mean? I was like, I was in my late 20s, I was approaching 30, and I thought, you know what, like if I don't do it now, then I'm gonna look a bit stupid, like as a 50-year-old when the whole battle rap scene's died down, going, yo, who wants to battle? And everyone be like, fuck off, old man. So I thought, you know what, let's give it a go.
And, you know, as we're going to get into in depth here, the style works tremendously well. And one of the things that I really like about your battling style, Visceral, it has that almost crystallized quality of someone who hasn't joined until recently, who kind of has a lot of old tropes, which is how battle rap used to work. Character assassination, you're very precise with your pen.
Yeah, cheers, man. You know, like one thing, I mean, nothing against anyone who does this, but, you know, you hear a lot of rappers who kind of go into battles and they've got long verses, non-specifics, not about anyone in particular. It's just punchlines and they're just flowing, you know what I mean? Just kind of showing that they're the better rapper, that's cool. But I never wanted to do that. I always wanted to specifically write about my opponent. I figured the whole point of this like modern era is that you've got enough time to think about it. You know, it's set up. You've got a preset opponent. You're not matched up on the night. So why not take advantage of having all that time and just write your bars specifically, tailor make them? So I always wanted to do that. That's why my shit's always dead specific. And that's why it's dead annoying when someone pulls out as well.
Yeah, we mentioned the Tidal battle. Didn't that happen there?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so Tidal was one of the battles that got cancelled last minute. I've got a few of them actually. I've got a few, and hopefully I can entertain you with a few funny stories about them.
Yeah, I mean, not to spoil the Tidal story, I guess, but didn't he like turn up and then didn't battle or something?
Yeah, he was there. We were both there, but he had some issue with it. He was with his friend who needed to get out, go and catch a coach or something. Right, so we decided to get off with it. But anyway, that's a whole. I suppose I'll get to that.
Yeah,
I'll get to that. But yeah, the whole point
what a teaser.
Being like, I know. Yeah. That's it, isn't it? Like, so you know, when you write such specific shit, it's kind of gutting when you don't manage to get those bars out. But I'm sort of looking at it now where it doesn't matter. You get what I mean? It's all a bit of practice, wasn't it?
And what was the choice in going for King of the Ronalds over Don't Flop?
Well, there's a story behind this.
Okay.
I was meant to have a tryout on Don't Flop originally. It was Bamalam set me up with it. I was talking to him.
Right.
So this was after, I mean, I'll talk about my first battle later, but after I'd done my first battle, which was on Freestyle Fictionary, which is not a league, it's not a battle, it's not a platform to battle. It's like a cabaret sort of like variety night with a sort of a hip hop twist. And I happened to battle there, and the footage of that went online. And then I thought, right, you know what? Let's use that to apply to do a battle on a league. Why not? I kind of caught the bug then. I thought that was quite fun, you know what I mean? I can do this again. So anyway, I got in touch with Bamalam, who said he was looking for people to try out. And I had it locked, like I had the date for it. And then Bowski from King of the Ronalds got in touch with me and said, do you fancy doing a tryout on King of the Ronalds? I was like, yeah, go on then. All right, why not? So I had the two locked in. I had the two battles in my diary, yeah. And I knew who I was facing for King of the Ronalds. It was a guy called Hadas. That was my KOTR tryout. But for the Don't Flop one, they didn't really say who it'd be. I was like, right, okay. So I was just starting to write my non-specific bars. I was thinking, right, might as well get ready. Because I think it was only like, there was like 2 weeks or something to go. And then Bamalam got back in touch with me and said, yo, had to change the date. And it just happened to be that same day of the King of the Ronalds tryout.
Wow.
So I had the choice there. It was almost like my
Crossroads.
Yeah, exactly. My journey into battle rap could have started off in two different directions. Yeah, I could have gone the Don't Flop way or the Ronalds way. And to me, it was a no-brainer. I was like, you know what? KOTR, man. Like, that's the... You know what I mean? That's what I was watching a lot of at the time.
Right, okay.
I was in like Don't Flop. I've always been a big fan, still am. But at that time, King of the Ronalds was fair. Well, it was newer, you know, and I was I was enjoying that. I was enjoying the sort of like fucked up, weird,
right,
sort of punk style of it, and the fact that it was so entertaining even when the battles were bad.
Yeah.
So I thought, you know, and also another thing was Don't Flop was in London.
Sure.
And I didn't know who my opponent was going to be, so it would have been like a pretty last minute. Whereas KOTR, I had an opponent, so pulling out of that would have meant letting him down. And it was in Manchester, you get what I mean? It's in my hometown,
Sure.
so I thought, why get on a train and go and battle some nobody in a park in London when there's this event which King of the Ronalds, which is going to be poppy. It's like Oshea was battling there as well, you know, who's my personal favourite battle rapper.
Right.
At that event, and I thought, yo, you know what, let's go for it. And at that same event, I freestyle battled Oshea and Sprungy as well. You know what I mean? Like same day, like straight after my tryout, which was fucking terrible. But you know what? It was like, it's one of those things I can say I've done it.
No, definitely.
Not bad for a debut.
No, amazing. And we'll get to that. But just before we do, chronologically, probably worth reflecting on your battle with C-Rap at Freestyle Fictionary. I mean, we'll just touch on this briefly.
Hey, yo, I saw him before when he come in and he was like, you're right, lad, namaste. Yo, do us all a favour, quit the rapping, stick to Sanskrit chanting. So, yo, he put out a diss track to me where he said, I'd sooner be compared to Jason Statham than Warwick Davis.
It's quite a long battle, isn't it?
It is, and that's because we had a lot of time to prep. It came from a bit of a back and forth. So I'd met this guy like a few years previously, and it came from something. I struggle to remember exactly what the thing was, but it was some sort of conversation online about battle rap, and I found out he was a fan, and he really wanted to do a battle, and I don't know, there was a bit of banter going back and forth, and eventually it was just like, you know, he was like, well, how about if we battled? Oh, no, sorry, I told that story completely wrong.
Right.
It was actually, you might know him, there's a poet called Tony Walsh.
Oh, yeah.
He's actually become quite a big name recently.
Longfellow, is that right?
Longfellow, yeah. But recently he's actually kind of become quite a known name
iconic?
in the mainstream. Yeah, because of the tragedy recently that we happened here in Manny.
Yeah.
You know, and he's got a poem about Manchester, so he went and he performed that at the vigil, and it, you know, really resonated with people. It's a great
powerful
poem.
Yeah.
Powerful, man. He's a great poet. I'm a big fan. And, you know, I've been good friends with him for a long time as well. And it was when we were talking about battle rap, and he said, yo, I would like to see Visceral versus C-Rap. And then a few people jumped on that, and we're like, yo, you know what? Let's do it, man. It'll be fun. And then we had a bit of this rivalry going back and forth for a while, but it was a good few months before we actually got to do the battle, which is why it was so long. You get what I mean? We were just writing bars and bars and bars. And I don't even think we had a time limit for the rounds either. But truthfully, that's probably my most fun battle to date. I really do feel that's probably my best battle, because I really cared about that. There was a lot of hype around it, and I think we both had something to prove. We did 2 rounds a cappella and 1 on beat, and it was dope, man. Like, C-Rap was absolutely sick as well, like far exceeded everyone's expectations.
And like even parts where instruments get involved at the end.
Yeah, that's right. So C-Rap was, he doesn't go by that name anymore. He used to be more of like a comedy sort of singer-songwriter rapper, and he had this tune called Imagine a World, and he won. SBTV did a competition called Jokes from the Hood, and he won it with this tune. So it was like his most well-known shit. So I thought, right, well, I'll do a parody of that. Because he plays the guitar, I thought I'll play off the sort of short jokes and the little jokes, and I'll have a ukulele, and he's got a bald head as well. So what I'd done is I'd shaved my head the day before, and I wore a hat for the whole battle. So when it comes to that, I like whipped off my hat, and I had a full Kojak shiny head, and then I got the ukulele and did a little parody of his tune, and that went off, man, because a lot of people were familiar with what he does there.
And, you had quite a lot of experience, obviously, outside of this. It's quite a long battle to have on camera very successfully. So were you nervous when you were at King of the Rolls facing Hadas when you got in that pit, or?
Not really, no. I don't think nervous is the word. But it was very different. I think I was a bit thrown in that battle because it was very, very different to what I was used to. I'd never battled in that format where there's like no mics for a start, so you just got to project your voice, and then that changed my whole delivery as well, if you get what I mean. That's probably a lot of people find this when they first do it, they're just practicing to themselves in the room, and then you get there and you've got to raise your voice like 5 times that amount just to be heard and sometimes the crowd, they don't react in the way you expect either. So it's just things that you can only learn from experience, really, in that format. So I was a little bit like, as soon as I started, I was like, oh shit, this was not what I was expecting. But just give it 100%, man. And I think it was a pretty good battle, to be fair, for the tryout.
Yeah, Mickey at the end especially is ecstatic about it. Really pleased, and it is a good battle. Unfortunately, the audio is a little quiet, but I mean, regardless, the performances from both of you are excellent. Hadas, kind of one of these like no names. He didn't battle that much though, did he?
No, I'd been on Don't Flop twice,
right, before
that, and I'd never heard of him before. It just Bowski asked me, would you fancy battling this guy Hadas? And at the time, I would have battled any fucker, you know what I mean? So I was like, yeah, all right. And then I checked his battles on Don't Flop, and to be quite honest, Tom, they were dreadful.
Right,
they were absolutely terrible. And I thought, I hope he doesn't come like that. I really hope he doesn't. And as you can see, he didn't. He actually gave a really solid, strong performance, man. I think he it exceeded everyone's expectations.
Fuck all your weak lyrics. Yo, that definition of visceral shit was sick when C-Rap did it. And yo, he sent me a message this morning and he said, alright mate, good luck. And you know what, he's a really nice bloke, but now he's getting fucked up. You want to talk about my head? You have a rectangular head. But your rap's out of shape. Never mastered the craft. That jawline, probably the sharpest angles you have. Yo.
Yeah, there's some very decent technique, I have to say. It comes together well. There aren't necessarily the punches that you require from around there, and it's a little obscure at times, a little quick. Quite a funny rhyme at the end. Visceral, head looks like a profiterole.
Yeah, you know what? I was, because I couldn't hardly remember this battle at all. So in preparation for doing this interview, I watched it back the other day, made a few notes myself. There was a bit where he pretended to like smell my breath.
Right.
And then he did this long scheme with like loads of multis about how bad my breath smells. And to me, it was like he'd never met me before in person.
Yeah.
And that was clearly like a pre-written scheme.
Sure.
So that's a little bit invalid, if you ask me, you know, to write a long scheme about someone's breath when you never met them before. But yeah, anyway, so there was a bit, I wrote down a line that I liked of his. Martin Visceral, you're so small and white, it's like you're part invisible.
Yeah. That was at the end of his
probably his
second.
best line. Yeah.
One of the things that when you watch your battles, Visceral, you get this sense that you're fresh, and it's kind of hard to place at times, but it makes sense when you pretty much flip every round at the top of each round. You kind of take it in a certain direction. Like, it's a great tool to have in your arsenal, isn't it?
What, to be able to like flip?
To just against someone like Hadas who feels quite rehearsed, quite mechanical, that your flip is just quite it's quite balm.
Yeah, I think it's quite important to be able to do that, but you don't have to be a great freestyler, I don't think, because you've got all of that time while the other person's spitting their shit. You can just stand there and just think about 4 bars you're gonna say. You get what I mean? It's not like you have to spontaneously. You know, you might have like 30 seconds to a minute to think of a few flips. So as long as you can remember them, you know, I don't really think it's that hard to do it. But what you can see from this battle, from this first one, is I don't think I'd quite mastered the art yet of doing a flip and making it funny. I was more just like pointing out shit that he said and why it was wrong. I didn't come with like a joke or like a punchline with it, if you get what I mean. Well, I mean, but again, you learn, don't you? Experience.
Exactly. It is really strong stuff from you. You know, you flip the head stuff he does in the first. You know, he's got a rectangle headline. Jawline's the sharpest angle you have.
He has got a pretty square head, you know, to be fair.
He's less horror, more mild peril.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, you know what? Again, that didn't quite have the impact that... I don't think I'd write something like that now, because what I was referring to was when I saw him in another battle on Don't Flop, he was rapping what I thought was like a bit of a bootleg, shotty horror type style. It's like I felt like he was really trying to be like Shotty. But then when he battled me, he was nothing like that. So it didn't quite have the impact that I expected there.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I learned. You can't second guess what they're going to do so much. You get what I mean? You never know. They might just come and do something. They might start talking in haikus or something. You know what I mean? They're not necessarily going to do what you've seen them do in previous battles. That's something I learned there.
Yeah, no, but horror as a name flip always works. I always think of Big Cannon's like Scary Movie to Raptor, watching a mockery of horror. Yeah.
In fact, I mentioned Raptor as well, and he was there.
Yes.
I said something about he's a fake raptor, and then something about Jurassic Park.
Yeah, like a cloned. Yeah. There's a nice scheme as well that kind of culminates in getting power as normal to you.
Oh yeah, something about getting duppied.
Yeah,
like a ghost scheme. I thought I was well clever back then.
And if anyone, if this battle was to go viral, Visceral, it will go viral on the next moment, which is so good, where your wife is involved.
Yeah, that was watching it back. I thought that was definitely the best part of the battle. Yeah. That was definitely the high point. Yeah. Because he said some shit about not even my wife then, my fiance at the time, but yeah, he said some shit about, and it was totally wrong as well. He thought she was Polish or something. And, I don't know where he got this shit from at all. But anyway, so he was talking about her, and then I remember thinking, I want to say some shit back, but I mean, you know, my wife is very, you know, she's a writer herself, man. She's a witty person, and you know, she's the sort of person who you can have a bit of a, you know, if we're like with our mates and having a bit of a freestyle mess about, she'll jump in and, you know, she's not shy to just get involved like that. So I thought, you know what, I could stand here and defend her and that chivalry and whatnot, but isn't it better if I just let her speak for herself? Yeah. So that's it. So I tagged her in, and she come in and just said like 2 lines and buried him.
Yeah, she kills it, man. Yeah, it is successful. And it's part of a trope that might be bigger than you think, where battlers tag in their, significant others. I know None and URL did it, and Danny Myers as well. So, like, there's a sort of, I don't know, maybe a compilation needs to be made, but it's a fucking excellent moment, man. And yeah, it does shut shit down, definitely, and it gets a huge reaction. And, like, the feeling, was it good for you, like, kind of coming into this second round? Like, you're in a battle, it's going well, Mickey's there, Bowski's there, like...
Yeah, buzzing. Yeah, absolutely buzzing, at the time. It was a dead good atmosphere in there as well. It was a nice crowd. It was a good venue. Yeah, it was sick. Like, I think because the footage isn't the greatest quality, as you can tell, especially the audio, and the video was a little sketchy as well. So it doesn't quite come across, but the atmosphere was electric on the night. It was absolutely sick. I thought every battle event was going to be like that. How wrong I was.
Yeah, no, you're right. It does have a classic kind of ramshackle KOTR element to it, and you kill it. I mean, you sort of, you go into his kind of personality, most generic guy you could ever find, probably put together in China on an assembly line, which is pretty strong. Clown on his kind of flibbity dip manny stuff, which he kind of fulfills the prophecy of in his third by doing, flibbity dip manny stuff. But it's a good battle, and one of the reasons is it's some decent OT.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it went to OT at the time because the crowd reaction was so close and justified, by the way. Like, I don't want to stand up and go, oh, yeah, I buried that fool or whatever. He actually came really strong, man. So, big up Hadas. And, yeah, it was so close that, yeah, we said, let's do an OT. Let's do an OT. It's only right, innit? But then it was weird because I freestyled mine, and he had like a mixtape verse or something. So
Breaking Bad bars, something you got to deal with.
Yeah, and that was another thing, right? Most of Hadas' material, I'm not saying it was bad or anything, but I didn't understand it.
Sure.
Because I don't watch any of those shows, you know what I mean? I've never seen fucking Breaking Bad or Game of Thrones or whatever he was talking about. Like, so I was just stood there, like, what is this guy on about? But then, because you've got to judge it on the OT, I don't really think you can judge like a little freestyle against a written non-specific verse. So to me, I would call that one a draw. I know I took the win, but for me, that was stalemate. I think it should just be a draw.
Yeah, that's fair of you to say because, you would expect the freestyle from yourself, and in that environment, really, very few people were going to beat you in that OT, were they?
I don't know, because I had a freestyle battle later that didn't go too well.
Yeah, let's talk about teaming up with Roots against Oshea and Sprungy. I mean, great matchup, as you said earlier. How did this come about?
This was straight after that battle.
Oh,
and Bowski was like, oh, we want to do a little freestyle 2v2. And, I was still riding high from that battle. So I was like, yeah, man, let's do it. And then my good friend, my brother Roots, was there. And he's not a battle rapper whatsoever. He's not even into battle rap like I am. He doesn't watch it. So unless there's like, the only battles he'll watch are the shit where people are getting like their shirts ripped or what, because I'll show him and he'll catch joke off it. But he's not really a battle rap fan like that. But this is what a good mate he is, man. This is why he's a top guy, man, because he could see that I really wanted to get involved in that 2v2. So he stepped in, man. He was like, all right, come on, you can partner up with me. And it wasn't the greatest battle, to be fair, but is what it is.
Yeah, exactly. Still a great document. And the next battle was, it's crazy. You had this tryout, and then you had a freestyle battle with Oshea on the same day, and then the next time you battle twice, and it's for the title. There's huge stakes being raised. There
was a battle in between that.
Oh, shit.
Which got lost. So this was in London, and I battled JJC4.
Oh, shit.
You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, Metal Gear.
Yeah, this was before he got chased out by Blunt Ted, yeah.
Wow.
This was because he'd done his tryout, and I'd done my tryout. So Mickey said, do you fancy battling each other in London? Like, all right, let's do this. So, yeah, we battled. And I choked one round. I forgot my bars, but I didn't just stand there like a muppet. You know what I mean? I freestyled. And yeah, it was. And he was a bit shit, to be honest. I think he choked like 2 of his rounds, and it was a bit of a wash. But it didn't feel too good because the crowd were not. I don't know, man. The crowd weren't warmed up, or they were just not feeling us, or something. So it was a bit of a dead battle, man. I kind of walked away from that like with a win, but feeling unsatisfied. But nevertheless, winning that meant that I got to go into this tournament, which is where I battled Defenin and Bard next. And that was the Norway tournament.
Yeah, yes, the Norway tournament. And, what does it feel like as a battler to lose a battle like that? Like, I appreciate, okay, not the greatest battle by the sounds of it, but still, it's footage that's lost, and it's quite tantalising as a fan.
Yeah, it's a bit gutted, innit, at the time, but what can you do? I mean, I think I was glad that one got lost and not, the Hadas one. I thought that had been lost, because it came out about 6 months after I'd done it. And I think the footage was corrupt.
Right.
For some reason, they had some technical problem. And shout out to Chapo, the rapper Chapo. He's the one who sorted it out.
Right.
I think that's why the audio and visuals a bit sketchy on it. He managed to salvage it. So, out of the two, out of Hadas or JJC4, I'm glad it was the Hadas one that came out, because at least the crowd had a bit of a buzz in that one.
It's almost like an initiation into King of the Realms. You got to have an early battle lost. Like, that's just the way it is. Like,
sort of, yeah. And if you can put up with that, then that's it. You're one of the Ronalds.
I'm pretty sure Lazy has endured that. I'm sure Blunt Hair, everyone's kind of gone through that hailstorm. But we get to Deafening.
You're depressing, pathetic. You've got no rhythm and no flow, no musicianship or soul. You've got that stiff and rigid tone. Deafening's the definition of a drone. I say stay in your lane, but you don't have a lane. You're middle of the road. You're run of the mill. Typical, vanilla, bland. Your perfect job would probably be a holiday rep for Dismal Land. I reckon Sarah Silverman gave birth to this little man after getting banged by Ed Miliband and Edward Scissorhands. I don't even know.
I mean, Deafening comes up from time to time on the show. People have battled him. I've got a lot of respect for Deafening. I think he's pretty good.
Yeah, me too. I think what I respect most about Deafening is, when he started out, he wasn't great.
Right.
He'll admit that himself. He wasn't great. But he kept at it. He kept doing it. And, I mean, when he battled me, I thought he was a bit shit, to be honest. I don't think he did well in this one. But since then, he's had some, genuinely, he's had some belters. He has had some great performances since then. Unfortunately, then, I think he was getting trolled a bit too much. So he's not battling right now. He's getting trolled a bit too much on the forum, you know what I mean? So this is why I generally stay out of the forums and shit like that. I can't be arsed with it. But yeah, it was getting a bit much for him, so he had to step away. But yeah, man, big up Deafening. He's a real nice bloke as well, man. Real good guy.
And we're in the good ship, which is kind of a classic Ronald's venue. Multiple masterpieces have gone down here. You begin about how average he is. He's not bad enough to be funny. Shit at being shit.
It's true though, isn't it? Because you got those people on King of the Ronalds who are just so fucking dire that they're entertaining. He's not even that bad, but he's not great either. So he's just a bit average. So you get what I mean? Just kind of, he's not entertaining. For either reason.
I'd say stay in your lane, but you don't have one. You're so middle of the road.
Yeah, there you go. It's all just playing on that, isn't it? All that middle of the road, average, dire sort of shit.
And I love in battle rap, if they're accurate, you look like bars. Like, if they're just kind of like, wow, that's really on point. I hadn't considered that. Now I can't stop seeing it. When you say that definitely looks like Edgar Allan Poe.
Yeah, that's it.
That's amazing.
What did I say?
No one is raving about you.
No one's raving about you.
Yeah.
Oh, I also had one bar, which I thought was sick at the time, but didn't get much reaction. But what was it again? I think that Sarah Silverman gave birth to this little man after getting banged by Ed Miliband and Edward Scissorhands. You know what I'm saying? All those like pasty people with like dark rings under their eyes. He's like, I imagine they all just kind of like shot their load in Sarah Silverman and then Deafening came out. You know what I mean?
Holy shit. You also call him Nosferatu as well, which
he's
a bit broader but still successful. But yeah, it's those eyes, those piercing. I mean, if you know Poe, he had those piercing, like, Neverworld kind of eyes, like. And yeah, I mean, Deafening kind of stumbles a little too hard in the first. Why am I choking, man? He asks, and then he chokes out pretty hard.
Yeah, he was awful. Let's not sugarcoat it. He was terrible in this, and I say that with all respect to Deafening, man. I've got a lot of love for the guy, but he was terrible in this, and I was really disappointed.
Yeah. Where he says that he doesn't do schemes, and then he does like a long crisp scheme.
And he referred to his dick as a what's it, didn't he?
Oh shit! But it's like the sensation. Oh, it's just
terrible. You know what? I got a few notes myself on this. I thought that because of his chokes, I felt like it kind of killed the vibe in the room. If you know what I mean, like everyone just sort of lost interest then, and no one knew who I was at the time either. He was this guy from Manny, so. Yeah, it was a bit of a dead battle, to be honest. It was a bit of a nothing battle to me, this.
But there was a lot at stake.
I suppose so, yeah. I suppose there was, yeah, because we had this tour. Oh, do you know what? I've got to just briefly tell you about the setup for this tournament, yeah. Because I think this stuff, if you just watch the battles, I don't think you'd know this. No one mentions it, but it was originally meant to be a 4-man tournament, yeah. So it was going to be me versus Deafening. And then Bard versus 142. Your old rival 142.
Right, of course, yeah.
Depressed lad.
Yeah.
So, and then the winners would face each other on the night. That was the idea.
Right.
But 142 pulled out last minute. So we were like, what? Mickey and them were saying, what should we do? And then I said, well, look, out of us all, Bard is the one who's put in the most work. He is known on King of the Ronalds and he's been on Don't Flop and blah blah, so fuck it, whoever wins out of me and Deafening battles him. You get what I mean? He's earned his spot in that final already, so that's what we did. But I also, basically what I'm saying is 142 is another one of those little cunts who pulled out on me, because I had 3 rounds written for him just in case just in case he got into the final.
That's painful.
So there you go, 3 fucking rounds for 142 down the drain.
But I mean, like, it's not unreasonable you battle again. Would that never
What's
happen?
That, sorry?
Would you guys never battle again?
I don't know, maybe.
On beat?
Maybe. But the thing is, he wouldn't come back to King of the Ronalds now, and I'm never going to get on Don't Flop.
Why never?
Well, they see me as like one of the enemy, really. You know what I mean? Saying that kind of makes it sound like I'm being egotistical, like as if they really care about what Visceral thinks, you know what I mean? But every time I've like expressed an opinion about Don't Flop that's not sucking them off, straight away they're like, you're a hater, go back to the Ronalds, you're just jealous. Oh, you get what I'm saying? So I'm not really interested in being on Don't Flop, to be honest. I sort of feel like the bubble's burst now. But I say that as a fan. Some of my favourite battles of all time are Don't Flop. I've got a lot of love for, a lot of the battlers on there, man. So don't take that as me slagging off Don't Flop. I just don't think I'll ever be on it, truthfully.
Right. And, I mean, clearly you beat Defenin and then go on to battle Bard. How much of a time break was there between the two battles?
It was just a quick, like, sort of, I don't know. It wasn't even really a break, to be honest.
Wow.
It was just like, right, that battle's over, and then, right, get in and we'll do the intro, all of that. King of the Ronalds, make some noise, and then it was just straight in. But that was good. Like, I enjoyed that because it meant the energy didn't die down. It picked up. So if you look at the difference between the Deafening and the Bard battles, I guess because Bard's a more lively performer as well, but also because the momentum was just picking up by then. It was definitely a good thing to do it like that.
I mean, hard on you, though, just to go into a battle, your second battles with someone like a juggernaut like Bard.
Yeah, but I suppose you could look at it like this. I'd already had a warm-up.
Right.
He was coming in fresh, you get what I mean? I'd just done a battle, so I was all warmed up and ready to go. So you could look at it as my advantage, really. That's the way I tried to look at it anyway, because, you know, I was trying to think positive in it, like I had some sort of chance.
What is it like when Bard's kind of barking on you?
Bit annoying, to be honest. I just remember I kept feeling like flecks of his spit going in my ear. And fair play, I guess that's a tactic, you know.
Yeah.
Might have helped him win, but yeah, that was little specks of like spit going into my ear hole, man. It was just winding me up a little bit.
And Bard takes the win. Is that a fair victory in your eye?
Yeah. I do think he deserved it, because he was. In fact, you know what? I made some notes about this.
Right.
Let me just consult my notes, man. So yeah, that's it. Right? So I feel like I said before, you know, like Bard had already put in a lot of work for King of the Ronalds. He used to even like write for the blog, and everything, man. He was like really involved in it, in the culture, you know, and the scene. Whereas I was just a newcomer, man. Who's this guy, Visceral, just stepping in, going for the title all of a sudden. And he had also, because he'd done so many battles, he'd really mastered the sort of the delivery side of it. You know, the way, if you look at it, I'm just kind of spitting my bars in a bit of a low key way, but he's really performing it out to the crowd. Which, all right, it's a bit of a Marmite style. Some people don't like that shouty type of shit. Right. But regardless of what you think of it, it got the crowd going and it got him on his side. And so I think his experience gave him that edge. And so it was a well-deserved victory for him. Like, I'm not mad about that at all. He was definitely the right person to go on and rep for King of the Ronalds in Norway and have the title. That I wasn't ready for that. I was a newcomer.
Yeah. And in many ways, Oshea was destined to become the champion, no matter what the censor result was. You know, there was this sense that fate had handed, you know, Bard to go onward. And quite a long break for you between this battle and the Canal battle.
Yeah, well, you know, I've got a few stories about things that happened in between.
Please.
So I had a battle with Hulk, which was at Cypher Lounge in Brixton, and it was one of the best battles I've ever been a part of, man. It was, this is the one I'm gutted didn't come out. Out of all of the lost ones, this is the one I'm like, oh, if only this would have, you know what I mean? If only this would have gone online. So we did it in like the little smoking cabin outside of the venue, and everyone was just hotboxing it out. And there were loads of Polish guys there, man. They had this like Polish rap crew from, you know what I mean, from London who were there. And it was just a real good atmosphere, man. And everyone who was in there, like, were there to hear the battle. They weren't just knocking about. So, so it was like a dead good atmosphere. It sort of felt like we had the money on the table, and it felt like felt like you were in a gambling den or something, you know, that like the air just thick with weed smoke, and you know what I mean? It just had that ambience to it. And the battle itself was sick, man. Well, you know, Hulk's one of my favourites, to be honest. You know, Hulk, I think, is, as a battle rapper, I think he's really mastered his delivery. He can do freestyles, he can do flips, he's got hard bars as well. And yeah, man, and he came with it. He was sick. I was dead proud of my material and the way I delivered it. And I had probably one of my best flips ever, where Hulk did a whole thing about how I wish I was black. He's like, I can even see from the way you get your hair trimmed up and everything. And but he's really playing on this angle of me wanting to be black. And then as soon as it came to my round, the lights went off. So I just, like, straight away, I just went, yo, all your rhyming is whack. That's not what he meant when he said I'm trying to be black. And then the lights came back up, and I just carried on with my verse, you know what I mean? And it went off. So yeah, but it was sick. Now the whole story behind this, and the reason why it never came out, is because I was there with my friend, who shall remain nameless this time, but a good mate of mine from London. And again, he's a close friend, man. He's like a brother, you know what I mean? But so he was there with me, and because Hulk was behind the camera for the rest of the battles, they needed someone to film this. And my mate stepped in and said, "Oh, I can do it. I know how to work Canon cameras." And Mickey was like, "Oh no, saying to Bowski, you sure you trust him? You're just going to let some guy like film the battle? Bowski was saying, oh, it's fine, don't worry, he's trustworthy, look at his hat. You know what I mean? He had a flat cap on. It's like, of course he's trustworthy, yeah. So he goes to film the battle, right? And at the end, he comes to us and he said, oh, you're going to love the angles I got on it. It looked amazing. And looks back at it. The only bit he's got is like the very end of the battle. And what had happened was he'd forgot to press record, innit?
No.
So he'd only press record when he thought he was pressing stop. It's online, actually. They put it on the King of the Ronalds channel. I think it's called like Hulk versus Visceral, another KOTR fuck up.
No.
And, so it's just basically like me and Hulk looking gutted, hearing the news that it got that it got erased. And then Mickey was just having a go at Bowski for the whole night then. You know, for like trusting some random guy with the camera.
Oh my god, yeah, I've got it on screen now. It's muted, but yeah, I can see the footage of you guys and just kind of everyone's chatting and annoyed and I can't imagine.
Probably see how gutted we are,
Yeah, that's awful, that's awful.
But anyway, like I say, yeah, my mate who did that, you know, I forgive him. I got retribution right there and then because we had a Act on Words were on, you know, Tenchu and DK and Tongue Twister and those guys. They do like a freestyle thing called Act on Words. And they were doing something there that night. So Tenchu and DK had watched the battle. And so they knew what had happened. They saw that the camera had fucked up and everything. So when we went into the main venue, they were starting their act and they were doing a game where Tenchu was like a priest and the other MCs come and they make a confession to him.
Right.
And he sort of freestyles some advice to them. And we went straight in, went to the front. And DK was looking for suggestions from the crowd. He said, what sort of sin could you be guilty of? So I said, failing to record a rap battle. And they knew straight away what I was talking about as well. So they did a whole thing about that, like a whole little freestyle skit about what had just happened and just ripped the piss out of my mate. And it was great. I was just stood there fucking laughing at him and pointing a finger in his face. So I felt like I'd gotten my retribution there, you know, and since then it's all sweet.
All right, man. And anything else before Canal battle wise?
Tidal, of
course, yeah. When we spoke, yeah.
If you want to hear the full story of that, go and listen to the KOTR Top Gun.
Actually, don't. That's good cross promotion. That's good cross promotion. Yeah,
talking to the listeners there. So we did a recap of that event. But yeah, in a nutshell, we were both there. We both had our bars locked down. I was ready to murk that fool. And he ran away.
So we get to the next actual battle against Canal, which is recorded. You're getting all prepped. It's one battle this time. It's not a tryout. It's not a tournament. It's just a straight off battle. Hulk's there, John Whitmore, Tony in the background. Quite a cool venue this was.
Oh, amazing! Yeah, Temple of Boom in Leeds. And this was the event where Tony D and Dialect battled, which was a real milestone for KOTR as well. It was a great event, definitely one of the best I've been to, easily. Temple of Boom is a great venue.
And someone like Canal, he had such steam at this moment. Like, you were hyped as well, but he was really the golden guy.
Well, that's it. All my battles were just destined to be lost or not happen. So, yeah, but Canal had been killing it. He'd been putting in a lot of work. He'd had a long run of battles, which I think might have gone against him here. I think he might have worn himself out by this point.
Shout out to the Hip Hop Chip Shop. Their catering was great. Best believe that shit. You need to take a tip from them, mate. You need to chip. And you should have been at my wedding. It was a beautiful day. I hope eventually you tie the knot and kick the stool away.
Yeah, it was certainly a kind of a bit of a nadir for him, I think, in comparison to yourself, where, again, you go at his kind of vital organs, the obvious spots, but very strong. Like, even just go sick with a glow stick.
Yeah. I thought I wanted to open with a sort of paint a picture of what Kinell would have been like in the 90s, like rubbing Vicks over himself, just eat up in a club. Like, you know what I mean? Covered in glitter. I just thought it was a funny image. So, and that's the whole thing, innit? That's what I've decided I'm going to do in battles. I'm not going to try and say, yo, I'm the sickest MC. I'm going to rhyme 1,000 multis. I'm just going to try and make the other person look like a twat.
Yeah. with real success, permanent gun, peeling your tits off when the wind changed direction.
Yeah. That's it. You know what? There was one line I said as well, which was, your flag has got a dragon and you keep chasing it. And when I thought of that, I was like, oh, that's like, because he's Welsh, you know, so I thought the dragon thing. But then I thought, oh, that seems really obvious. I reckon someone else has said that. So I watched every Canal battle to make sure no one had said it. So, yeah, thankfully, I was like, I didn't hear anyone say it. So, you know what I mean? I was like, right, it's fair game.
Yeah, you know.
But I got to say, watching all of his battles, it wasn't a chore at all.
Oh no! Oh, definitely.
And I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of Canal. I think he's brilliant. I think he's definitely one of the top sort of up and coming battlers. I don't know if you can still call him up and coming, but I mean not established in the same way that like Oshea is or anyone like that. But... You know, of I suppose my generation of battle rappers now, he's definitely one of the top guys, man. And I've got nothing but love for him, genuinely, like as a person. And as an artist, man, I think he's great.
Yeah, and I honestly can't think of anyone in the recent UK scene that has had such rapid growth as he has had. Like, you know, over a year or so, he's now international based. He's been on Don't Flop. He's headlined events. He's been the title holder. Like, you know, it's crazy. You know, obviously crazy shit. And a shame that he's not quite as sharp as he normally is in this battle.
No, I think he was just, and this is Kinell's weak spot. I think he was just a bit too wasted by this point. And like now, you might notice he's a little bit more sober in his battles.
Right.
He's coming more correct now. Like when he battled Pea Soldier and Dank Schrader, I know he went in there with an attitude of, I'm not gonna body myself here. I'm not gonna fuck up because I'm too pissed or whatever. So yeah, he came in and he came correct. But it's just a shame he was like a little bit too fucked in this one, really. It's a shame because I really wanted to battle him, you know what I mean, in like when he's on his A game, because I know I won it, but would I have won it if he really came 100%? I don't know.
Yeah, he mentions the chip shop, the hip hop chip shop.
Yeah, true. They did the catering for my wedding. Yeah,
that's awesome, man.
Yeah, hip hop chip shop. Yeah, Ace, can't recommend them enough.
What's hip hop about them?
Well, everything they do is kind of like a hip hop pun. So there's other people, like I see Scorsese's got a thing called Gangster Raps with a W now. Right. And there's another, like, I think there's even another hip hop chip shop in London. They're all ripping him off. Trust me, man. Like Ozzy, who does the hip hop chip shop, he's been doing this for years. Like he was the first person to do that. Yeah. And he put a lot of work into it. Originally, it was just like a comedy website. And they used to sponsor Freestyle Fictionary, which was the event which I used to run in Manny. So they used to sponsor us and they'd give us like merch and things as prizes. But he went from it just being like a joke website to being like a proper catering service. And now he goes to festivals and, you know, they've got a base in the Northern Quarter in Manchester now. And yeah, man, just smashing it. But he put in a lot of work. It's like years and years of work to build up to that.
Yeah, no, very, very, very cool. This is what Battle Rap Resume is for, discovering those sort of things. And, you know, you just flip crazy in this round. You should have been at a wedding, beautiful day. Hope one day you tie the knot, kick the stool away.
You know what's mad? Like, loads of people have said that's your best line ever.
Right.
That was like, that was the best flip I've ever heard. You know, at the time, like, I didn't think it was that good.
Yeah.
That was like going to be a throwaway, and then I was going to go on to like my next flip, because as he was saying his shit, I was just like, right, think of as many things as I can, and if you remember like half of them, then that'll do. But yeah, that was like a bit of a throwaway in my mind. It was only when I said it and people reacted, I thought, right, that was actually probably was one of my better flips, to be fair. Yeah.
One of my favourite lines of yours is you kind of flipping again the Kendrick Lamar stuff. He's from the countryside, so he literally knows how to pimp a butterfly.
Yeah. Do you know what? I must admit that one was pre-prepared. Like I did think of that.
Okay.
Earlier, you know what I mean? I'm gonna be 100% real with you, Tom. I'm not gonna stop. Yeah, it was all freestyle. That one was. I figured he might say something about Kendrick Lamar because that was like a bit of news at the time. So I thought, right, I better be ready for that.
Unbelievable. You battled Kendrick Lamar. Was this in Manchester? It's on YouTube. This is on Hadas' channel, isn't it?
Yeah, bodied him, mate. 3-0.
How did it come about?
I'm only joking, by the way. I didn't. You know what? Truthfully, I think it was reported totally wrong.
Right.
In my mind, that wasn't a battle. I didn't battle Kendrick Lamar. But well, it sounds good to say it, doesn't it? So, but since I'm on this show, I'm just going to be real with you. I don't feel like that was a battle. It wasn't. Right. Let me give you a bit of my perspective on this, Tom. I thought that whole thing was a facade. It was a sham, the whole thing. So I was working on this event, which was with Brighter Sound in Manchester, who do workshops for young people. And I was there as a facilitator. I was running some workshops in lyric writing, and I was just hosting and making sure the day went smooth. And we knew that there was going to be some special guests there, but we didn't know who it was going to be. Right. Turns out it was Kendrick Lamar, because the event was sponsored by Reebok, and he had a pair of trainers coming out. And for some reason, I don't know, he's a fashion designer now all of a sudden. But yeah, Kendrick Lamar had his own range of trainers coming out on Reebok. So to help promote that and brainwash the kids, you know, he'd come to this event. So he kind of, all the kids went mad because they're obviously like of the generation where they all love Kendrick Lamar. Yeah, me too, by the way. Like I am a big fan of, especially his album Section 80. Man, that was right. I think that's a classic, man. I think that's his best album. But anyway, yeah, I am a big fan of Kendrick. I think what he does is good. So we turn up and I was like, oh, this is cool. You know what I mean? We've got like a sick MC from the US, man, from the West Coast is here. So he gets on the mic, yeah, which was cool because I didn't think he was going to do that. He got on the mic, but he starts spitting like, yo, I'm the sickest MC. You know what I mean? I kill anyone and da-da-da. And then kind of like passed the mic out, and none of the youngsters wanted to take it because they were all a bit intimidated. Obviously, this like big name guy from America just comes and he goes, I'll fucking murk anyone. So I thought, right, let me get the ball rolling a little bit for the kids. At the same time, this event wasn't supposed to be about me. I was facilitating for the young people. I say kids, actually, but, you know, some of them are like in the 20s. Up-and-coming young artists, I should say. That was the wrong term. But, yeah, so... Oh, sorry, Tommy. Bloody cat's jumping up on them.
Oh, it's all good. It's all good.
Right, so... You can edit that if you want.
Yeah.
So I thought, I'm going to get on the mic. And I said something responding to him, like... I can't even remember, but it was something in response to him saying he was the sickest and he'd kill anyone. But then I turned it round and I made a point of saying, I'm only joking, Kendrick, big up. You know what I mean? Like, much respect to you. I did all this in a freestyle and then bigged up all the youngsters and passed the mic on. And then Kendrick, like, grabs the mic out the hand of some youngster, yeah? Gets back on it. And he's like, yo, I don't know what he was saying at the time. I couldn't hear a word of it. But anyway, I could see he's being like all aggressive and shit. You know what I mean? Next minute, his fucking bodyguards are like getting in front of me and trying to sort of push me back a little bit. Not like, don't get me wrong, not kick me out, but just making sure I don't get back on the mic.
Sure.
If you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And then next minute it's all blowing up on Facebook and shit. People I've not spoke to for years are like messaging me. I'm like, yo, man, what, you don't care about anything I've been doing over the past few years, all the music I've been making, all the battles I've done. All of a sudden, just because I do some little freestyle with a big name American guy, you all care all of a sudden, man. So that kind of annoyed me.
Yeah, I get that. But it regardless, man, it's a crazy achievement. I mean, arguably, he's the biggest rap star in the world right now. And for you guys to go toe-to-toe is incredible.
Sort of, yeah. If you kind of see it like that, yeah.
It's just, probably the biggest achievement of anyone I've had on the show so far, like to have, like, you know, battled Kendrick Lamar. So
fair enough. I'll take that. I'll accept that.
Yeah.
3-0.
Very fucking good. Very fucking good. And Canal as well. You know, Crystal Maze, Crystal Meth. Lots of great stuff from you here. Googly Eyes and Wank Socks. You flip it to You Couldn't See Me Coming.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about that, it doesn't make sense, but it sounded good.
Yeah. yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, the logic of it doesn't make sense, but I convinced everyone at the time that it made sense.
I'm crazy about, and it's almost like something from like a Spike Milligan, John Cooper Clarke poem, Washed Up Fossil Like an Ammonite.
Yeah, that was a case of one of those. I think I started out with, he likes his curry same way as his spliffs with added spice. And then I thought, what rhymes with added spice? And then I just ended up making a big list of stuff. Ammonite, traffic lights, Sam Allardyce, all of this stuff. And then I just put it together into something that vaguely made sense and parred him off.
Yeah, it works crazy well. And we get to the next battle, Riser. Quite a big opportunity, this one. Great event.
Brilliant event. Again, like, I'd put it on a par with the Temple of Boom Leeds event. Amazing, man. Amazing event, yeah. It was King of the Ronalds versus Iron Bars. Or England versus Scotland.
Right.
And this one came about, actually, at the end of that Leeds event, where... So after I battled Kinell, Riser was there, and he was off his face. He was fucking pissed and rowdy. And... he's like, I want to battle you. I was like, all right, well, maybe we will battle, you know what I mean? But I was just trying to sort of chill out. And, he's like, he's a big guy.
Yeah.
So then Bowski wanders over and he goes, oh, you know what? I could set that up. Maybe you could battle in Scotland. And as soon as he said that, I was like, yeah, you know what? Like, I wouldn't mind that. I've never been to Scotland before. So why not? Let's go. All right, go on then, Bowski. Let's do it. So... yeah, we ended up doing it for this England versus Scotland event.
And, yet again, great stuff from you. And it seems like you were just getting stronger and stronger. How are you feeling as a battler? More confident, or?
I wasn't very confident going into this one. I'll be honest. So in between Kinell and Riser, I'd had 2 more battles. I'd battled Chapo. And in fact, Tom, if you don't mind, can I go back a little bit and just sort of tell this in order? Because I think it might make a little bit of sense of why I wasn't so prepped.
Right.
So I'd done that Kinell battle, and then I was meant to battle a guy called Ben Carlo in Newcastle originally. Or was it him, or was it Technico? Well, right, so Technico cancelled. And I had my shit written for him as well. But then he did try and reschedule it, but then I couldn't make the date for whatever reason. So I'm not trying to say Technico backed out or whatever. It just is what it is. I think he had a kid or something at the time when we were meant to battle. But yeah, that one just didn't happen because of circumstances. And then I was meant to battle a guy called Ben Carlo. And he cancelled last minute on me twice. So I kind of figured that one wasn't going to happen. But then the second time he cancelled, Kinell's opponent, Stowaway, cancelled on him last minute. So the night before, we decided to do a 2-on-2, me and Canal versus Mickey and Hulk. So it was kind of like a roughly sort of a little bit pre-written and a little bit freestyle sort of battle. And that just dropped recently as well. So you can check that out if you want. Listeners, you know what I mean? Don't expect a masterpiece, but it's all right. It's got its moments. So we had that one, and then I battled Chapo in Nottingham, and that battle was a bit of a fucking mad one because it was just the rowdiest pub you can imagine, where no one was listening to a single bar that we were spitting, apart from maybe a few of the other battlers were paying attention. So that one was shambles. That was I remember, like, saw a homeless guy bottle someone like right before the battle outside, and it's like to get into the venue you had to like step over all of this blood like on the threshold. So it was one of those vibes, you know what I mean? It was like a Saturday night in Notts, and it was not a good environment to battle.
Yeah.
So they ended up, that battle's online as well.
All right.
But it's what did they call it now? The double feature. So there's another Blunt Ted versus Little Maisie and me versus Chapo, both put on a split screen, playing at the same time. It's a King of the Ronalds classic. But anyway, so I had those battles coming up, and I was quite focused on them. You know, on writing for Ben Carlo and Chapo. And then I realised I had Riser, and by that point, I suppose I was a little bit like Kinell. I'd sort of burnt myself out. I didn't have much creative energy by that point to come up with bars. I was sort of a bit sick of writing battle bars by then.
Right.
So, and by the way, I'm not making excuses here. I do feel that if you take on a battle, you should give it 100% or don't bother. So don't think I'm like trying to make excuses here. But this is just a very long-winded way of answering your question, was I feeling confident? And I wasn't, because I was very under-prepped for this one.
Yeah. And, I mean, it's a shame, really, because, like, you know, there's lots of great stuff from you here, and the crowd love it as well. It was a very receptive audience.
The crowd were brilliant. Like, I did not expect that. People were saying to me before, oh, you better watch your back there, you know. I thought I was going to get bottled or something, man. I was ready for that shit, because the way people were talking about Glasgow and what the Scottish crowds are like, and especially because of my third round, I had some stuff that was a little bit challenging. Like, people were telling me, like, watch your back.
Right.
And it was nonsense, because it was the friendliest, nicest, most accommodating crowd I've ever performed for in battle rap. They were ace, man. I've actually been back to Glasgow twice since then, and I love the city. I love the people, and I love the city. I think it's a great place.
Yeah, definitely, man. And so, I mean, between this battle and the McSherry battle, was there any other battling activity, or?
No, not really. I was focused on other things there. I think because the Riser one kind of, it was the end of quite a long run of battles for me. So I was, I was happy to just step back for a little bit, take a break from it.
And in the McSherry battle, you're rocking the Free Blitz shirt. What's the story behind that?
Well, you know, are you aware of Blitz from King of the Ronalds?
Yeah, I mean broadly, but not kind of. You know, I've seen a few of his battles, but
he's a bit of a cult figure. So he's had a few disastrous moments there. He's had a few all right moments as well. He battled Pedro and he did okay. But yeah, the rumour was that he'd been locked up. But he was posting online about it, all this mad stuff about. I don't even want to go into it really. But he was posting some mad stuff beforehand, and then he said, "Right, everyone, that's it. I'm going away for a bit." So no one believed him. Everyone thought it was just pure bullshit. So, flipping heck. Sorry, man, this cat's causing havoc here. But anyway, so yeah, everyone thought it was pure bullshit, but I locked him out, the little shit. Yeah. Anyway, so Blitz. So the story goes that he got locked up, but no one believed it. Everyone thought it was pure bullshit because he was trying to get out of a battle, and he'd made this big elaborate excuse about being locked up and blah blah blah. And me, I didn't know if it was true or not, so I thought, gonna get this T-shirt made with Free Blitz on it, and you know, if it's true that he really is locked up, then it's a bit of a shout out to him. If not, if it's pure bullshit and he'd made that all up as an excuse, then it's a bit of it's just keeping the joke going, if you know what I mean. Right. I mean, so I kind of thought it's a win-win either way. I might as well do it. It's a bit of an in-joke for the Ronalds crowd. That's why I decided to do it. It's really good. It's fan service. It's best. And, yeah. But I figured it's not a big thing. So if you don't know who Blitz is, and if you don't get it, you can still watch the battle. It's not like I'm talking about it.
McSherry is legendary. The stuff of folklore. All right. Crying and getting violated is what he's known for. But he won't roll over and say no more. Since he went viral, he keeps on coming back. This fucker's like a cold sore. What'll a weird little specimen. Let's get this shit straight. Clickbait is the only reason that he holds any relevance. Most of the time we see him choke, and that's the end of him. His bars are so forgettable, he can't even remember it.
People wearing shirts of various things in battles is, quite common courtesy again. Similar to the girlfriends and wives jumping in, but in the best possible way. Always great to see, and yeah, it is quite satisfying. And quite a simple shirt as well. A classic shop printed tee to a certain extent, and it's just, do you still have the shirt? You still wear it?
Yeah, I've still got it. Yeah. I think I'll, I might just rock it as a bit of a throwback at some point.
Some hipster garb or something, yeah. We get to the McSherry battle, which is a fantastic battle on your part. Your most recent battle in proper, kind of uploaded. Fair to say, pretty cold body.
It was pretty one-sided, to be fair.
Yeah. But
I was buzzing to battle McSherry, because I'm a big fan of the lad. Big fan. I mentioned before I've been a fan of King of the Ronald since it started, and to me it brought something fresh and entertaining. And McSherry's been a big part of that. And that, I suppose, that fresh and entertaining thing is the fact that nobody's above Boyman.
Yep.
If you shit, you will get told there and then. You'll get terrorized by Mickey and Bowski and Hulk, and you're not going to have an easy time of it. And McSherry is one of those guys who's is a soldier. No matter what happened to him, he just kept coming back. So yeah, I was buzzing to battle him. He's an icon.
He is an icon, yeah, completely. He is the underdog incarnate, to a certain extent. He chokes on his first bar.
Classic McSherry.
Yeah.
Classic. Now, you know what? When that happened, and I always get this, whenever an opponent chokes, I panic.
Right.
I always worry. I can feel my pulse speed up, and I'm like, oh no, because I just feel like the whole battle's going to go to shit at that point. I feel like the crowd are going to switch off, and it's just going to descend, and Mickey's going to probably start chipping in, and it's just all going to go bad. But yeah, he picked it up. I thought that was going to be it for him. I thought they were going to cut him off on his first bar, but he pulled it back.
Yeah, they give him a little bit of leeway there. He does sort of, this is like X to Y, a tidal wave to this sort of played out stuff. You perform in pantomimes, apparently?
Yeah, apparently, yeah. No, I know what he's referring to. It's not exactly a pantomime.
Right.
But I have been acting recently in a children's theatre piece.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's not far off the mark. For most of this year I've been touring with it.
Dope.
Yeah, and it's in fact I don't even know if you know the guy who wrote it. It's called Dominic Berry.
Don Berry, yeah. I know him well, yeah.
Okay, yeah, so amazing poet, great writer, and he does adult stuff, but he also does children's stuff as well. So he wrote this show, which is, there's a lot of spoken word in it. A lot of it's in verse, and it's a version of The Boy Who Cried Wolf. And in the rehearsal process, he ended up writing another character into it. And, he's looking for another actor. So I said, well, I'm looking for some work right now. Would you consider hiring me? So we did, and it's a great show, man. I'm well proud of it. Even get to do a little bit of freestyling in it as well. Getting suggestions from the kids and, creating something on the spot. So it's great work, man. It's the best job I've had for a long time.
Oh, that's so good to hear. And yeah, Dom, I know him well actually from the poetry scene. I actually sold an amp to him. He's a good guy, man. Yeah, Fringe regular, isn't he? What was that dragon show that he did?
The Dragon Who Hates Poetry.
The Dragon Who Hates Poetry, that's right, yeah.
That was his first children's show.
Yeah, he is. He's fantastically talented. That guy, seriously,
amazing. Yeah,
seriously.
For real. Yeah. Well, in fact, we're gonna be in the Edinburgh Festival with it.
Oh no way!
We're leaving in a couple of days. We're gonna be there for 2 weeks.
Oh, that's so fucking cool, man. That's so cool. I would love to see that. I love the Fringe. I've been a few times myself, and that is Congrats, man. So,
cheers.
Back to your boss.
Yes. So anyway, that's what the pantomime shit was about.
Yeah. But something you say that I think is like, why has no one said that before? That's brilliant. Bars are so forgettable, he can't even remember them.
Yeah, I was just thinking of as much stuff as I could around, choke. How can I make fun of him for choking a lot? And, like that bit there, that little 4-bar section, I had it sort of planned where I could have said it in the first, second or third verse. There was a space for it to slot in, like in all 3 verses, but I was going to wait and see if he had any stumbles or chokes and then say it after that, to make the impact a bit more, just make it a bit more relevant. And thankfully for me, not for him, but thankfully for me, he choked in his first round. So I thought, right, I can get that one out straight away.
And you talk about his socially conscious music. You're not a political activist just because you've been on the demo channel. Yeah,
I didn't know whether people would get that or not.
It's nice, man. It's clever. Very clever.
It.
Yeah. Really like that one.
Bit of a risk, that one, because I never know like who's going to know these little battle rap references. I try not to do too many of them. I always try and think like if someone has never watched a battle before and they know nothing about Don't Flop, King of the Ronalds, none of that, would they still understand the majority of it? I'd always try and approach it like that.
And Mac again just struggles. I fucked your bitch all over the place. Fucked on the sofa like the floor was it's just like terrible freestyle. I mean, Mac, I love you, but a painful freestyle at the end of his second.
You know what? He was nervous, man. Like before this battle, I remember a great venue, by the way, in Birkenhead. Shout out GEE, man, for organising this event. He smashed it. So, I got there and I was like just chatting to people and, socialising. I was quite confident that I had my bars down. But when Matt got there and his mate Ashley, he was sort of, you could see Matt pacing up and down, like stood in the corner on his own, going through his bars. And he looked like he was really nervous, man, maybe a little underprepared. I'm not sure. And like before, we were stood there, we were waiting for him to set up the camera and all the equipment and everything. And the DJ was playing some classic hip hop. So I started freestyling. I thought, let's kick a little freestyle with him while we wait, have a little warm up. And I was like spitting a little freestyle and trying to pass it over to him. We were just having a little back and forth, little freestyle battle on beat before the actual. Cause you know what I mean? I wanted us both to just be loosen up and be able to relax in it. But yeah, man, I could tell from then that he was nervous.
Yeah, he just sort of. Yeah, he doesn't do well. None of the rounds are very strong. He points out that Pea Soldier's not laughing to his bar. Or so. It's just kind of like when there's no punch, it's just kind of like Pea Soldier multis off it. So Dean Holder. I mean, you do an Irish famine bar with the choke. You say you're so white. You say stuff like juxtapose.
Yeah, but this is such a strange thing. You probably find this because you battled yourself, Right. But when you have a line where it's just sort of like a setup or a throwaway.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's not. You don't think anyone's going to react to it. That was one of them. But sometimes they get bigger reactions than your actual main punchline.
Yeah.
It's weird. You can never second guess it. What the crowd's going to like.
Yeah. So true. And you go pretty serious in your third, sort of going about his mental health, like mild depression rhymes with cry for attention.
Yeah, it was a bit of a risky one doing that, I thought, because, I mean, previously, we didn't really talk much about the Riser battle, but, like, in that one, I had my third round, I really tried to touch on some shit that I genuinely wanted to say, and that I think because by that point, just in the Riser battle, because I was saying to you, I was getting a bit sick of writing battle bars, I just wanted to do something a bit different and get something off my chest. I sort of did the same with this one, but I thought, you know what, I'm kind of known as like a nice guy in this scene. Let's say some shit that's really mean and just fucking horrible. So that was my whole idea there. I thought, you know what, take the barriers off, take the self-censorship off and that, and just say the most horrible fucking thing you can think of. Because Mac has been, very vocal about his support of, mental health, depression, people should talk about it, which I fully agree with. I'm 100% with him. But I thought, right, I'm going to use that angle.
It works.
And truthfully, let me tell you this, man. This is an exclusive, a battle rap resume exclusive here. So, I mean, when I wrote that shit, I obviously don't really believe that at all. I know depression is serious. I know anxiety is serious. And I've gone through a lot of it myself. And when I was writing that shit, I was coming out of quite a bad bout of anxiety. And most of those bars, I wrote them about myself. I was dissing myself when I wrote that shit. And then I just decided, fuck it, I can turn it round on him.
Yeah, and then you're going on his equally iconic close friend, Ashley.
Yeah, well, they're synonymous, aren't they, them two? They're like Torval and Dean, or, the famous duos that you have, Laurel and Hardy.
Yeah, there is...
Abbott and Costello.
Yeah, I can think of a few. Mickey and her, maybe, as
But I didn't write too much about Ashley, though, because I thought, on the off chance he's not there, I don't want to be mentioning him because everyone will be like, who's he on about? So, yeah, I kind of like, you know what I mean? I sort of, I thought I'd write a few bars, and then if he's there, I can say him.
Yeah. And we have the 2-on-2, which we'll get to, but any other battles have gone down since this one?
Nah, I've had cancelled ones, like I say. I was meant to battle on Clash Money again, but that got cancelled last minute after I'd already booked my travel and written all my bars. It's a frustrating thing, man, this especially when you're a sort of a no-name like me. People are not that motivated. So, I don't know, I'm getting there. I'm becoming a little bit more recognised, but as I was starting out, you sort of just have to, you can't be fussy, you have to battle whoever, and you don't know if they're going to be reliable or not. So I guess it's all a rite of passage, that's the way I see it. Yeah,
entirely. It's all part and parcel of it. And, I mean, let's talk about the final battle then, that just got released, the other day or so. You and Canal versus Mickey Worthless and Hulk. This was the infamous Fozzy site, was it?
Yeah, that was the day, when Fozzy dropped a bomb on us all.
Right. Yeah, it was...
King of the Ronald's most viewed battle, is that?
By far as well.
Really? By far, even compared to Tony D in Dialect.
I think it's got like 40... Let me check now, but I'm pretty sure it's got like 70,000 views or something. It's got like a lot of views. So
what a world we live in, Tom.
It is.
You know what I mean? What a world.
It's quite tragic, isn't it, when you actually consider the reality of it? Let's have a look here. Yeah. So, I mean, even the most viewed King of the Ronalds battles, really, I don't think they, unfairly so, they don't really go too much into it. So let's have a look here. Most popular. The most popular is Fozzy, 84,000 views. And the second 2 and 3 are McSherry. Tony D and Pedro's 35,000. Tony D in Dialect isn't even... Is it even that top 10? It's not even gone that high. No, it's not.
Wow.
I know.
But I suppose, King of the Ronalds has got its own niche. And it's changing.
Yeah.
But I think King of the Ronalds is not... Like, exactly what I was saying before. I'm probably a culprit of this. But, you watch... This is the way it used to be. You watch Don't Flop for the sick battles, the high-quality people like Tony D and whatnot. And then you watch... King of the Ronalds to see someone's shirt get ripped or someone cry or someone shit themselves or something like that go on. So, I suppose people aren't watching King of the Ronalds to see Tony D in Dialect, are they? They want to see Blitz or McSherry, which is fair enough.
And this battle, I mean, it's an environment you do well in, isn't it? These kind of 2-on-2 styles.
Yeah, I think so. I think this was a pretty good battle, to be fair, for a last-minute one. We just thrown together. Yeah, it was all right. It was all right.
I mean, someone like Mickey, you guys battling, would that ever happen?
One-on-one, you mean?
Yeah.
Maybe. Maybe, yeah. I don't know if that's a battle I want to do or not, really.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I don't know. I've got too much love for Mickey, really, and... he can always I don't know, right? I feel like Mickey probably wouldn't put in that much effort.
Right.
If I'm being honest, he'd probably just turn up and freestyle. And yeah, I don't know, man. I think the Hulk one was a good battle, but I'm not sure if I want to battle Mickey and Bowski necessarily.
Right.
I can't even explain why. It's just not something that I really want to do. But if they said to me, we want to do this and we think it would make for a good spectacle at a KOTR event, then I'd do it.
Okay.
I'd do it, but it probably wouldn't be my first choice for some reason.
And I mean, in the next year or so, who are some people you would have hoped to have battled?
It's hard to say, to be honest. Like, I know Bowski was trying to get someone who's a decent name to battle me for the next Manny event that's going. He was saying, I want you to be like main event versus someone. Like Kinell's battled people like Pea Soldier and Bobby Rex and people like that. I think he was going for someone of that caliber or that popularity. No one will do it though. Not like no one's interested. So I think for now I'll probably just be stuck in the sort of King of the Ronalds gene pool.
Right. Well, we'll wrap up Visceral with a few quick-fire questions.
Yeah. By the way, I just want to say I'm not being negative when I say that. I'm just trying to be a realist.
No, not at all. And I just want to correct myself as well. Tony D versus Dialects is actually the sixth most viewed King of the Ronalds battle. Arguably, we have Battle Rap Gets Violated above it. So, and Panic Attack or Just Another Choke as number 2. So, clickbait.
Classic clickbait shit.
Yeah. And all I need to do an episode one time about the little description box on KOTR, because they're never like, here's the Twitter, here's the Instagram. It's just like the ravings of this like enlightened battle shaman or something. They're great.
Yeah, it's brilliant, man. See, that's all the shit that we watch King of the Ronalds for, innit? You know what I mean? We all that alternative kind of shit and just not taking it too seriously. Yeah. That's the thing, innit? Like you can take this art form really seriously, and it can make for some great battles, some great lyricism, some great performances. But you run the risk of taking it too seriously and draining the fun out of it, I think. It still has to have a little bit of that. That's why I try and keep my battles a little bit loose so I can try and have fun with it and make it entertaining for the crowd, Like, I don't know. If you want to hear, like, a sick lyricist stand up there and, rhyme 1,000 words, then there's plenty of battles like that out there. And, I think I'm just in it more for the entertainment value.
And what is your favourite King of the Ronalds battle?
So whenever someone asks me what is King of the Ronalds, there's one battle that I'll usually show them to sum it up, and that'll be Pedro versus EMC.
Yeah,
I think that's got everything really that you want from a King of the Ronalds battle. It's got a sick edit. It's got the Beavis and Butthead thing going on. It's got some like really funny freestyle shit from Pedro, and obviously it's got a little bit of drama to it.
Yeah,
bit of controversy.
Yeah, hell of a lot. And what about Don't Flop?
Favorite battle?
Yeah,
I don't know. It'd probably be an Oshea one, because I've been watching Don't Flop since like the very, very beginning. So I don't know, man. Maybe Oshea. Tony D's a bit too obvious, in it. So I'm gonna say maybe Oshea Nestle.
Okay.
That had some belters. That had some classic moments in it. I've seen things you could never imagine. A pig, a dog, and an elephant shagging. And and then Nestle says, apart from your family reunion, when in the hell would that happen? Classic Don't Flop, innit? You know what I mean? Classic sort of shit, yeah. Or maybe even you know what? I'll stop there. That's what I'm gonna.
Okay. King of the Dot.
I'm gonna say one that's, again, there's loads of obvious ones I could say. But I'm gonna try and say ones that other people haven't said. So I'm gonna say Bender versus Big T.
Wow, okay.
That battle for me again, it's a little bit, people don't talk about this one as far as I know.
Yeah.
I don't think it's one of the higher viewed ones. But Big T's got one of his best. You know when he does his sort of onomatopoeia?
Yeah.
His like sound effects and that.
The poutine.
Poutine, that one. Like.
Yeah.
And then, like Bender's got some dead clever shit in there about blood running down a Big T, like a crucifixion. And he's got loads of shit about like, because he'd done that battle on Easter. So we tied it in with all of that. I don't know, for me, it was just, it's just one of those battles that no one else really thought much of it, but I buzzed off it, man.
No, good choice. What finally, URL?
I don't follow URL, you know,
Right.
so I'm probably going to have to say an older one.
Sure.
I don't know, I suppose anything with Hollow the Don, man. Maybe Hollow the Don Charlie Clips, that was quite recently.
Yeah, good battle.
But you know what? Actually, fuck it. For entertainment factor, I'm gonna say, was it Ness versus DNA?
Oh,
It was one of Ness
Classic.
versus DNA. That's the one where he kicks off.
yeah. That shit nutty. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the.
Yeah.
Classic,
Oh,
man.
man.
Yeah, and that's another one where I think I show it to people who aren't battle rap fans just for the whole. It's a bit sadistic in it, but seeing someone having a meltdown during a battle, it's hilarious.
It is crazy. Yeah, it's a wonderful thing to have captured on tape. And final two questions. First one, your favourite film?
I'm gonna say one again. Not typical. I doubt any other battle rappers are gonna say this.
Right.
Hedwig and the Angry Inch.
Oh, wow, okay.
Have you seen it?
No, I have no idea what that is.
It's a musical, and it's about this East German singer who's in this like sort of glam rock band, but he has this like botched sex change, and that's what the Angry Inch refers to, is the little stub of his knob that's left. But it's, I'm making it sound really grim now, aren't I? But it's a really funny film, and it's a very the style it's done as well, with the music and the animation as well, and the way it all comes together. Yeah, man, it's a bit of a under the radar classic for me, that one.
Okay. And finally, your favourite musical artist or band that is not hip hop related?
Well, I like a lot of classic soul music, but I guess that is sort of hip hop related, isn't it? Because
In a sense. I mean, yeah, I guess I'm talking a bit more cut and dry, I suppose.
do you know what? I'll take it as far away from hip hop as I can.
Okay.
I'm gonna say Jake Thackeray, the folk singer from Yorkshire.
Right, okay.
Brilliant stuff, like really funny again. But just real. What he's just got a dead warm sense of humour, and he's a good storyteller. Again, that's something as well, a parallel there with hip hop, innit, with the whole storytelling element and the sort of being yourself as well, and saying things from your perspective and having varied content to your songs. So yeah, I'm gonna say Jake Thackeray there. Check him out if you want to hear something a little bit different. A bit of on a bit of a folk vibe, but you can. Like I say, he's got a lot of humour in there as well. Got a lot of, of dirty jokes as well he throws in.
Yeah, there's been, hearing you talk about him actually there, because I've not heard of him, but I'm definitely going to check him out. I should probably make a Spotify playlist of every band or artist that people mention at the end of the episodes, because there's been some really good, I remember Shuffle T, I can't remember who, he recommended some really forlorn singer, and my friend checks him out and loves him, like absolutely swears by him now, so... it's kind of, you never know the beauty of the recommendation. But finally, Visceral, how do people get at yourself? Social media, your music?
In terms of social media, probably don't bother.
Right.
I'm not on it that much. If anything, though, Facebook, I suppose, if you want to get at me. Martin Visceral, Visceral. I'll probably say it on this video, though, and I don't know why I'm spelling that out.
That's all good.
Facebook, Martin Visceral, and if you want to hear some of my music, concentratedrecords.com. It's all on there. I've got some shit on my YouTube as well, Concentrated Records. So yeah, have a listen to that. I'm I'm not a full-time musician or music producer. It's just something I do for fun. So if anyone listens to my shit and enjoys it, then that's the whole point. That's what I do it for.
Yep, exactly, man. This has been a brilliant chat. It's been great to have you on to go through all this stuff, enlightening for me, and I'm sure everyone else will. Definitely check out everything recommended. Check out Evidently, of course, Tony Walsh, all these kind of poets we've mentioned and stuff like that. Just all of it's been great. Visceral, thank you for coming on, bro.
Big up, brother. Thank you for having me on, man. Really appreciate it. And thanks to the 10 people listening as well. Safe.